There was a season when I thought belonging required shrinking parts of myself. And, I didn't consciously think of it in that way at the time. I thought it was just about adapting and accommodating and staying agreeable. And there are different times for this. Sometimes it was, being the youngest person on a team and having thoughts and ideas and, not wanting to come across as a smart aleck or a know it all. And so I would shrink back and withhold things because, sometimes I would make a suggestion that my manager didn't make, but the clients liked. And I noticed the manager didn't like the fact that even though we were helping the clients, that I didn't channel the idea through them. And then I started channeling the ideas through them. And suddenly I was no longer in the meetings and realized and learned over time that they were representing my ideas as their ideas with no credit and really trying to sort of diminish me. I think another time was, I would say being in environments where there was microaggressions around women and people of color. I remember, at the time I didn't wear my hair in the natural state that I wear it in now. And I worked for a large organization and, I wore my hair processed. So it was straight and, with big curls in it and, like sort of a pixie style. And I remember we had a young man who was interviewing for an entry level position. He was wicked smart, very charismatic. Like he was an African American guy. He was actually from the Caribbean. He had long dreads. They were neat. Like the way he wore them, they were, very presentable and neat and well cared for. Um, and I remember when we were debriefing, listening to a room of executives almost all white male. I think there was maybe a white female in the room and myself. And I was probably probably in my late 20s or so. And just listening to like, oh, he was amazing. He's so articulate. He's super smart. He came from, a school of a preferred pedigree, like all of these things, super positive things. And the organization chose not to give him the job. And the reason they chose not to give him the job was because he had dreads. And it was, we can't take the risk and put him in front of clients. Clients may reject him. If clients reject him, we lose money. If we lose money, that's not an option. And so being in environments like that, where I started to pick up signals that I was like, oh my gosh, like I, over processed my hair because I did never wanted to wear it in a natural state. And even, decades later, when wearing natural hair in the corporate environment was not a big deal anymore, it took me much longer than a lot of my female friends or girlfriends of color did to switch because of those messages I got to adapt, to accommodate, to do things to stay agreeable. But when I look back, I can see how much effort I put into trying to be accepted rather than being authentic. And the awareness around that has changed very much how I move now. Obviously, I wear my hair naturally, but and I don't shrink back in knowing things. And in fact, I've said to I've said to bosses, I've said to direct reports where it's like I appreciate you're uncomfortable that I know something that you don't know why I know this when you feel like you should know it, but let's figure out how to get it to the client. Let's figure out how to get value out of it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pretend I don't have training that I have. I'm not going to pretend I know something I don't know. So I will say that now. I have said that probably a year and a half ago was the last time I needed to say that to someone. So that awareness of not shrinking back, of not accommodating and not adapting does change how I move. Because real belonging is about not being required to abandon self.